Hey there, Toby Stark, Stark Associates Insurance Agency, serving our Medicare beneficiaries and making sure that they have the best education to have them make an informed decision when they turn 65 and it's time for them to decide to enroll in Medicare or, which is a frequently asked question we get, not. Well, what do I mean by not enroll in Medicare? You're right? You're entitled to it. At 65, that's your time. Well, what happens if you're still working? Many of you out there are still working past 65. And if you work for a larger corporation, 20 or more employees, you may be able to keep your group sponsored employer health plan past your 65th birthday. Okay. On to the time when you decide to retire, then you would enroll in Medicare. But each person is different. And what we found is there's a lot of confusion. An employee might check with their HR department. They don't have the answer. The insurance broker that offers the group benefits plan doesn't know much about Medicare, so that might not be in place to go for an answer. You talk to a friend of yours that's turning 65. Their situation's totally different than yours, and they're enrolling in Medicare. You're not really sure what to do. And then you get all the marketing pieces that come in your mailbox about 6 months before your birthday month, because everybody has your birthday. And you're like, well, I'm supposed to do something. They're saying I need to do something. Well, of course, marketing's supposed to drive action their way. They want you to enroll. Enroll in what? Well, just enroll so they get paid. And that's the point of where Stark Associates and what we do differentiates us from others, where we drive home education and empower you to understand. So part of this little whiteboard that I put together here is just understanding, well, what organization am I a part of and what decisions do I need to make moving forward approaching my 65th birthday? Now, if you're one of those people, just remember that Medicare would be effective the first day of your birthday month. So if it's June 15th, your effective date would be June 1st. So I started to type here just a little bit about, should I enroll in Medicare? Now, the first question I always ask is, how large is the business that you work for? Is it over 20 employees or is it under 20 employees? Over 20 employees, Medicare would be secondary. So when you age into Medicare at 65 years of age, it would be secondary or second to pay, and your group health plan would be first to pay. So you can opt to stay on your group health plan if you so choose. Now, I would tell you, and I talk to my beneficiaries about this, because at some point they will eventually retire and need to enroll in full Medicare. But at this point, maybe it doesn't make financial sense for them to enroll in Medicare Part A and Part B. So if you have over 20 employees and Medicare would be secondary, meaning second to pay, what you want to do is you just want to compare your benefits that you have now and cost to Medicare benefits and cost. All right, so that's important because some individuals, if they make the move to Medicare on their 65th birthday and leave the group health plan, which by the way is completely voluntary, an employer is not allowed to incentivize you to leave a group plan. You have to do it voluntarily, and based upon the education that we put forth, you can make an educated decision on, hey, should I leave the group plan or not? And that's if you are over 20 employees, you have a larger organization, Medicare would be secondary or second to pay when you enroll, if you decide to enroll in Medicare. You want to compare your benefits now, because Medicare benefits, there are no networks, no copays, no maximum out of pockets, no pre-approvals, and no prior authorizations. Generally, Medicare will beat any group health setting that you're in from a benefit standpoint, but it has to make financial sense. What are your costs now for medical benefits offered by your company? What are the costs? Is it on a biweekly basis? You want to take a look. What are they? Because I could tell you right now, the base premium for Medicare Part B is $164.90. That's the base premium. So you have to take a look. Okay, well, if I enroll in Medicare, I'm going to enroll in Medicare Part A and Medicare Part B. Well, Part A is hospitalization, And if you decide not to enroll and stay on your group plan, you can enroll in Medicare Part A at no cost to you as long as you have worked a minimum of 40 working quarters or 10 years of your lifetime. And people say, oh, I can get my free benefit. It's not free. You've paid $50, $60, $70, $80,000 into your free benefit of Medicare Part A hospitalization. Medicare Part B is doctors and outpatient, and that's where you would start paying. So let's say in this situation you wanted to stay on your group health plan, but you enrolled in Medicare Part A only. There's no skin off your back and there's no cost. I've known some people to get the wrong information, have their Medicare be secondary, be part of an organization that has more than 20 employees, which means their group health plan is primary, first to pay, and has enrolled in Medicare Part B because they were nervous that there would be a late enrollment penalty when they leave their group health plan and retire. I will tell you this, as long as you stay on your group medical plan, it makes no sense whatsoever to enroll in Medicare Part B and pay the government for a benefit that you are not going to use. The government will just take the premium. And if you are fearful or heard from somebody that has little or no knowledge about how Medicare works and says, well, don't do that, because if you don't enroll, you're going to pay a late enrollment penalty. Well, let's say that you work 5 years past your Medicare eligibility age at 65. So you're 70 now. You decide to retire in June. What you will need to do is apply for your Medicare Part B, and you'll need to get a letter signed by your previous employer that says that you have not had a break in coverage since your 65th birthday. That's called credible coverage. There's 2 forms that will be submitted to the Social Security Administration, and that will waive any late enrollment penalty for you. Please feel free to share this with friends. And the reason I went to this big screen here, and here I am looking at you and talking to you, is because this happens so much and people get misinformation and nobody's around to help and they just enroll, but yet stay on their group plan. There's no reason to do that. You're just throwing money down the drain. So do not do that. You will be able to get the late enrollment penalty waived because you've had continuous credible coverage. So the base premium for Medicare Part B is $164.90. And in other videos, I go on and talk about IRMA, which is income-related monthly adjustment amount, which could drive this premium up even further, which should be taken into consideration if you're looking to leave your group plan. But I would urge you to have a discussion. You want to compare the plan you're on now to Medicare to see if it makes sense to change. Eventually, you're going to change because you're not going to work forever and you're going to retire at some point, and you're not going to be able to continue on your group health plan. And there are very, very few employers, minus the government, of course, that's going to offer you medical benefits in retirement. They're living 35 years past their retirement age. I don't know any company out there that can float that retirement benefit. So if you are over 20 employees, Medicare would be secondary. It's important to sharpen your pencil on your benefits. And it's a great review too. Take a look at your benefits and see how they compare. And we help walk folks through this all the time. Even if they do wind up staying, it's fine. At least they have the education, because I almost guarantee the benefits that you have now through your group employer, you don't even know what they are, especially if you don't use them. You don't know what the network is. You don't know what a PPO or a POS is. And no, the POS is not what you're thinking. It's a network, all right? So that, from a 20,000-foot view, is folks that are turning 65 that may have an opportunity to stay on their group plan, okay? Now, for the folks that are under 20, Medicare would be primary and first to pay. So for those folks, you want to move off, not voluntarily, you want to move off of the group plan because Medicare is going to pay first, and then what's ever left, you're going to be left with, if you stayed on your group plan, a deductible, possible co-pays, cost sharing. It just gets very confusing, and it may wind up costing you more, especially the premiums that you have are probably sky high, okay, depending upon how much your employer gives you. So this is where, when you're under 20 employees, you want to take a look at enrolling in Medicare 3 months before your birthday month and looking at a Medicare supplement plan to bridge the gap for your care, because Medicare only pays 80%, or, God forbid, a Medicare, move this up a little bit, Advantage plan, which I'm not a fan of. So if it's under 20 employees here, you want to definitely come off the plan and go on to Medicare. If you have a spouse that's dependent upon you and is not an employee, they would go off into the marketplace and either receive a subsidy until they do turn 65, and then we could help them enroll, or they're just going to have an individual plan. Now, generally, in most of these, depending on where you are, there's going to be a significant savings. You're going to get much better benefits for Medicare. Again, no networks, no co-pays, no maximum out of pocket, no prior authorizations or pre-approvals. You go wherever you want, okay? And you would couple it with a Medicare supplement. So the Medicare Part B would kick in at $164.90, and you would enroll in Medicare Part A, and you would enroll in Medicare Part B. Medicare Part B is what you have to pay monthly, and that changes every year. Last year, in 2022, the Medicare Part B premium was $170.10. This year it went down to $164.90. Who knows what next year holds? We'll find out what the Medicare board says in October. Are we going to go back up to 170, or are we going to be a little bit less? But those Medicare benefits are fantastic. So here's a little snapshot of, you have to decide where you are. I hope that's helpful. I'm here, accessible. Schedule an appointment with us. We're happy to talk it through, because it's not just, oh yeah, I'm enrolling in Medicare. Everybody's a snowflake. There's a different situation for everyone. Even if you're above 20 employees, you're like, oh, no, I'm just going to stay on the group plan. Well, what happens if you have a high deductible? What happens if your deductible is $3,000 or $4,000? And going to original Medicare, your deductible annually today, as we speak, is $226. That's real money too on utilization. So are you going to the doctors? Are you utilizing it? Who are you? And these are the questions that those marketing slicks that you get don't care about. They just say, enroll today. We don't care who you are. Pay me. Those questions need to be asked, but that's not the job of the marketing slick, right? It's to get your attention. So now if they have your attention, you're confused. Now what are you going to do? You're going to make the wrong decision, or are you going to take a little bit of time and learn and make the right decision? We're here to help. Toby Stark, Stark Associates Insurance Agency. Thanks again. I'll be doing more of these. Take care.